Hey everybody, it's Greg from Park Journey, coming with you today with another update from Universal Studios Hollywood. We went and visited for a few hours this past weekend to celebrate my birthday and obviously ride some of our favorite rides, some of our favorite attractions, and check out the updates coming from Super Nintendo World, which is definitely growing week by week. And of course, Halloween Horror Nights prep, which there was a lot new to check out this week after they pretty much announced the entirety of their event last week. So let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we do, make sure you click below to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would greatly appreciate it. So as I mentioned, we went to the park on Saturday. It was a rather overcast and not very warm day for August in San Fernando Valley. And when I say not very warm, I mean it was in, the upper 70s, low 80s while we were there. But very unusual for this time of the year, to be honest with you. So walking up the main drag, one of the first things we saw was Scare Zone prep for the upper lot, which is great. You can see here the shipping containers and light fixtures over here. It's super exciting to see all of this kind of come about now that everything is announced for Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. And they've got just, over, 2 weeks to get everything ready. So here's a look at the entry to the Scare Zone here. And then moving over to Parisian Courtyard, the facade for Bride of Frankenstein Lives. I think this looks amazing. I love the way that it came out, the book feel of it. The artwork is amazing. And then just a few Easter eggs in there too that John had talked about on his panel at Midsummer Scream, which I'll link to here. We went to look to see if they've had any HHN merch yet. They did not. But if anybody from Universal is watching this, my wife has requested either a Bride of Frankenstein Lives shirt or a Scream Queens Scare Zone shirt. So maybe something for the ladies this year. So some of the artwork, again, it just looks amazing. I love a shirt like that. And then it was open a little bit, so the first little story, the prelude here as you're walking into the maze. Or sorry, the prologue, excuse me, as you're walking into the maze. And then moving over to the studio tour, here is a look at Super Nintendo World from the tram, our studio tour near Jurassic World. Again, a lot of work being done on the back side of this here. Pretty soon we're not going to see much of anything on this side of it other than walls. And then on the other side, again, a little bit so you can kind of peek in there a little bit and see some stuff going on. But for the most part, again, pretty much sealed up on this side. And then here we have a look at the soundstage where The Exorcist is going to be for Halloween Horror Nights. It was not open. We weren't able to see in there, but it is in there. And then moving around to the end of the studio tour, they got some cages, some gates for the cars. Obviously, they don't want us walking through and touching the cars during Halloween Horror Nights, so that's what it's going to look like apparently. And then moving around to the front of the Bates Motel here, you can start seeing the prep for the Terror Tram with the Purge. Now, I will say we just finished this weekend watching the Fear Street movies on Netflix. We really like them, and I think that would have been a really awesome fit for the Terror Tram. So hopefully maybe next year we'll get something from Fear Street at Halloween Horror Nights. They have a really good relationship with Netflix, so I'm assuming that's going to continue since they've done Stranger Things and now Haunting at Hill House. So maybe next year we'll get some Fear Street going on here at Halloween Horror Nights. And it did look a little bit like some stuff had been moved around in this area. The plane, I don't know, it seems like there's not as much debris as there was a few months ago. So I don't know if they're what they're planning on over here, but it did kind of look a little not as full with debris as it did a few months back. And then looking at Falls Lake, you can see here they've got some fences around. Now there were some rumors or some pictures or something like that about maybe some Wizarding World expansion coming to Hollywood. I haven't really seen anything solid on it other than just rumors. Maybe this is where it's going to be. Honestly, I always thought that the area where Fast and Furious is and this area would be perfect for Diagon Alley. And you could actually take the Hogwarts Express from the current Wizarding World out to this area. And that's how they could control the capacity of Diagon Alley and things like that. So maybe we're actually going to finally get that. Who knows? But there you can see through the fence a lot of land clearing has been done for whatever it is that they're doing here. And of course that's all heavy speculation. And then moving down back in the park, look at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre right behind the Mummy. And of course Super Nintendo World from the front end. Again, they are definitely adding new things each and every time we visit. And then moving down the escalator here, or the Starway. I know from this angle it doesn't look like it's very big, but it definitely is. It's still, it's still going to be kind of weird to have all of that brown right in front of it, and then you have to turn the corner and go into Wizarding World. But super excited for this. Obviously next year, hopefully. But construction is definitely picking up, which is great. And obviously that building is all of the show building for the Super Mario Kart attraction. Lastly, a look at the mazes over by Curious George. So this one here would be for Pandora's Box. And then the one behind is Haunting of Hill House. So here you can see a lot of stuff going on here. There's some props in the truck here. Some cranes possibly for lighting and other things. I would imagine at this point most of the props are already in the mazes. But here you can see some more lighting rigs and some work areas and things like that just outside of the mazes. And here is a look further down. You can see a little bit of the Haunting of Hill House facade. We'll get a better look at it in just a minute here. And then here you can also see some of the gates for the queues for the mazes here. From what I understand is we are going to actually access these mazes through Wizarding World, which is why that was announced that it was going to be open for Halloween Horror Nights, including Forbidden Journey and Flight of the Hippogriff. So you're actually going to walk through Wizarding World and back behind to get to these two mazes, which makes sense, especially with the Terror Tram going on. And as I said, here's a little bit of a better look at the Haunting of Hill House facade. I know there was a lot of complaints and questions about the flatness of the facade, but I want to remind everybody that you're seeing these during the day without the lighting and things like that. So we're going to withhold obviously final judgment until we see it with the proper lighting for Halloween Horror Nights. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this update from Universal Studios Hollywood. Thank you so much for watching. The next time we'll be at Universal Hollywood will be for opening night of Halloween Horror Nights. Super excited. That'll be our first Halloween event in 2 years almost, other than the drive-in that we did last year for Haunting at Hayride, and we're very much looking forward to it. All right, everybody, take care, have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.